Have you ever felt like everyone is in on some big secret to having incredible style and always putting together great outfits that you are just not yet aware of? Maybe you've been feeling a bit underwhelmed and uninspired by your closet at the moment. I know at least one of you watching this right now has canceled plans before because you couldn't figure out what to wear to said plans. Which, knock it off, by the way. Stop doing that. Hi, I'm Caroline. Welcome back to my channel, where today I'm going to be giving you all of my style tips and tricks that I wish I had known sooner, honestly. Big sister fashion advice, if you will. And I hope that you enjoy this video and find it genuinely helpful. Because that's kind of the entire point of it, so. Okay, so getting right into this with my first and definitely biggest piece of style advice, which is to let yourself look silly, have fun, take risks, experiment with your outfits. There really can be so much freedom and just like almost giving yourself the permission to look back on an outfit and think, ooh, yeah, maybe not a choice I would make now. It's not regretting a look. I don't believe in that with outfits, but also just life in general. I think especially if you can take a lesson away from it, it's how you evolve, it's how you adapt, it's how you grow. Not to make everything so woo-woo, cheesy deep, but with me, you know. It always is that day. I can't even tell you the amount of times that I've literally been on my way to a function looking down at my outfit like, ooh, I wish I would have just tweaked this one little aspect of the outfit and I would like it so much more. And so I make note of that and I remind myself to do that the next time that I'm getting dressed. There's definitely an aspect to experimenting with fashion that allows you to figure out what you like, but I would argue more importantly what you don't like. That's really gonna help, at least for me, kind of hone in on what I feel like is a pretty solid sense of personal style. But I think it also allows you to really dress for whatever you're feeling in this specific moment of your life and have that outfit almost be like a capsule of that moment, which I think is so cool. It's one of the many reasons that I'm not for like timeless dressing, is because I like that I can look back on an outfit I was wearing a couple of years ago and be exactly transported to where I was in my life, what I was feeling, what music I was listening to that was maybe really influencing my outfit, or was I watching more period piece media than usual, and that's why I was looking extra Jane Austen protagonist with my outfits. This approach to putting together outfits, I guess, that I let myself be really fluid with it. Not to mention that I also think, especially if you're somebody new to kind of experimenting with your style, it can be really great for building confidence, because I know it can feel nerve-wracking and what are people gonna think about me, because everyone cares what people think about them, myself included, but you just can't let somebody's opinion of you, especially about an outfit you're wearing, that opinion they have outweigh your own opinion, and if you like something or not and feel good in it. Can also weed out some potential judgmental weirdo freaks in your life who for whatever reason have a problem with you having fun with your little outfits every day. Cause what? Second style tip I have is to please never underestimate the power of a quick and easy alteration to a garment. Of course, it's great if you are in a position to be able to support a small business and your local tailor. I will say it's not as expensive as you might be anticipating it to be, and if it is as expensive or more, you're probably being scammed, so maybe suss out a few tailors for estimates beforehand. Trust me. Been there, done that. You can also, though, like I did a couple of years ago, teach yourself how to alter clothing, and you can do that actually with the sponsor of this video, who is Craftsy. So what Craftsy is really an incredible resource and online community for any of my fellow DIY enthusiasts and crafters watching this. Whether you are just starting out and you're very entry level or you're more advanced, everyone is welcome here. They offer more than 2,000 classes in over 20 popular categories like crochet, painting, photography, cake decorating, knitting. One of the main things that I really love and appreciate a lot about Craftsy is that all of their videos are broken down into easy to follow lessons that are led by super friendly and award-winning instructors, so they know what they're talking about, and they're gonna give you step-by-step demonstrations that, I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it, okay? You'll be good. When I made that decision to embark on the journey of altering my own clothing, it was really crucial for me to have a steady foundation and understanding of the basics for tailoring so that I wasn't going to potentially ruin any of the garments that I was altering, which would go against why I was doing this entire thing to begin with. And Craftsy has a plethora of really great tailoring classes. The video about tailoring ready-to-wear clothing by the instructor Angela Wolf was really awesome for me to get the basics down. Angela actually has a few different classes on tailoring that were really helpful for me. There's another class from the instructor Kathleen Cheatham about how to adjust the bust of a garment, which was really helpful for me as a person with a smaller bust. Often an article of clothing will fit me everywhere except that area. It's like noticeably baggy, and so knowing how to bring it in properly, or even taking something like a straight neckline and making it a sweetheart neckline. It's very simple to do. You actually don't even need a sewing machine to do it. You can, and I have done it by hand, and it just makes it all the difference. And it's again that idea that tailoring clothing doesn't need to be making it so fitted to you, right? It's the hem, it's the neckline, it's making something long sleeve to short sleeve or short sleeve to tank, or like how to add panels into clothing or take them out if need be. So if you're interested in checking out Craftsy for yourself, you can scan the QR code that's currently up on the screen, or go to the link in my description box and get the first full year of Craftsy Premium for only $1.49. Yeah, I don't even know what you can buy nowadays that's $1.49 other than a premium subscription to Craftsy. The offer is valid for new members only, so something to note. You can scan the QR code up on the screen once again, or go to that link. And thank you so much to Craftsy for partnering up with me on this video. Always remember, alright, that clothing is made, well, supposed to be made to fit your body and not vice versa. You do not need to alter your body in any way to fit clothing. The rise of the fast fashion business model over the past couple of decades has really like warped, I think, a lot of people's perspective around how throughout most of history people only had limited clothing. So what they did have, they really made sure that it fit, and now it's like, oh, if something doesn't fit, we can just throw it out and get something new that does fit, but it's also never going to fit quite properly because we're making things through a means of production that is so cheap for labor and materials that it's small, medium, and large, and if that doesn't work for you and your body type, well, that's a you issue. Buy these pills and this drug and go to this workout class to fix that, because you're the problem, not the means of production. On the topic of cheap means of production, learning how to alter clothing made me just that much more appreciative of both all of like the talent and work that goes into constructing a garment, which is why the fast fashion business model and how underpaid and overworked these people are just horrible, but also it's like the unpacking of the conditioning I had growing up around like treating these material items like they're so disposable and like a problem that I can just get rid of if I don't like a pair of pants in my wardrobe, instead of kind of trying to approach it as like, I have this item, I appreciate it, I'm looking at it as like opportunity to maybe change the hemline, or I can like dye an article of clothing in my wardrobe, I could add trim to it, I could cut off the sleeves and make it sleeveless and then wear it so much more and extend its life, instead of viewing it as just this thing to like, get rid of it. Not only is it better for the clothing to think this way, but I also think it's better for us as people and can be a creative outlet if we want it to be. Everybody get more hobbies. It's getting really scary, and the hobby can't be scrolling on your phone. Ideally, it has nothing to do with your phone. That's why I like crafting so much, is that I can't be on my phone when I'm doing it because my hands are occupied. Oh god, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Well, it's the truth. So it is crucial to be so serious with yourself about what your comfort levels are with how you like to look as well as feel in an outfit. Important for both you as well as anybody who might have to encounter you throughout the day, I might add, because I say this with so much love. Nobody wants to be around a person who is just complaining about how they look the entire time and how uncomfortable they are. Something I found really helpful when trying to decide if an outfit's gonna work for me or not is to close my eyes while I'm wearing the outfit and just move throughout my room and kind of experience what it's going to be once I've taken the aesthetic factor out of the outfit. Do I like how it just feels to wear it? Sometimes you're also kind of in a place mentally where you can maybe commit to wearing a heeled leather boot out, and that is something where it's not uncomfortable, but you are just going to have to maneuver throughout the night differently than if you were wearing like a sneaker. Or, I mean, I would never wear a sneaker, like a ballet flat's a bit more realistic for this scenario, because they both can work. There's just different ends of the spectrum, and sometimes you can commit to a ballet flat when you can't commit to a knee-high boot, and vice versa, and it's just important to be able to check in with yourself and be like, okay, realistically, what place am I at right now? What can I do? Obviously, it's gonna vary from person to person what your comfort levels are. It's quite personal. It's why I feel often when I get questions about how I can stand to wear knee-high leather boots in the summertime and not be like so overstimulated and uncomfortable by the sweat and the heat, I'm just able to withstand more when it involves a knee-high leather boot than most people. You gotta be honest about that. It's not good or bad either way, right? It's just different ways. It comes down to the ability to be able to decipher if, let's say, you're going out with your friends for a night and you're trying to put together an outfit, and if you are in a place of pant for a night out or a place of mini skirt. Being able to have what can at times be hard conversations with yourself if you're just not in, yeah, there's maybe like a physical confidence aspect to you're just liking how you look a bit more right now in pants than a miniskirt, but also, how are you going to have to maneuver throughout the night in a miniskirt versus pants, because it's going to look a bit different, and can you commit to the miniskirt? And if you do, you just have to do it 100% and fully send it. And if you end up throughout the night being like, oh, maybe I wish I would have worn the pants, don't complain to your friends about it 30 times. This is not the consequences of your actions. It's not the correct wording. It's the cause and effect. And just being aware of any of the potential effects that could happen from this decision. And if you're okay if those happen. And it's like, oh, you wore heels and your feet hurt. Like, what did we expect? Duh. Can we get real? Number 4 on my list is to define your style by a few words and really look at this concept as a tool to help your outfits instead of something that feels restrictive. There's a stylist, Alison Bornstein, and she has a TikTok where she actually coined this kind of concept of the 3-word method, which is to describe your style with 3 adjectives that kind of encapsulate your wardrobe and find the cohesion so it makes both shopping as well as putting together outfits a lot more seamless. It doesn't necessarily need to be 3 words. I think you could get a few more adjectives in there if you wanted to, or a few less. Whatever feels true to you. Eclectic, romantic, playful, vintage inspired, microdosing, the 70s are all kind of some of the terms I would use to describe my wardrobe. I'd really like to know what yours are in the comments, by the way. And I think, again, it doesn't need to just be adjectives or just be 3 words. I also think being able to maybe point towards like a source of media, a movie, TV show, even music that's a clear inspiration for your style, or a decade like, for me, the 70s, but often not completely wearing everything from the 70s. It's something like having this vest, which is from the 70s, and then pairing it with a top, which is modern, and that kind of fusion that feels a lot more true to my style. Anyone with a bit of an impulse shopping problem watching this right now, this could be a great guideline for you. Also, if you have been known yourself to fall for the marketing of trends, figuring out if you like something and something that's trending because you just genuinely think it'll be a good addition to your wardrobe and work really well with your style and your other pieces that you have, or if it is just like the hyper consumerist propaganda getting you. Listen, been there. I'm not judging. I do really prioritize having that word cohesion. Again, I keep saying it a lot throughout this entire video, but it's because I love having a closet where I can virtually grab any item and pair it with another item and know that it'll probably look good together. I love the ability to mix and match a lot. Not in the sense of a capsule wardrobe, but it's adjacent to that. Just add like a couple more hundred items. Of course, there are times when I come across an item that doesn't necessarily fit into any of those categories, and I think that's when I am able to have maybe a moment of grounding myself in reality and the reality of how much wear I will get out of this item, and kind of weighing the risk of adding this to my wardrobe and if it is like a smart decision or not. And sometimes it can also be something I'm taking a risk with and fun, and that's okay, but just to know that that's what I'm doing with this item and be aware of that. A good hat or hair accessory will make all the difference for the better when it comes to your outfits. I mean, there's a reason that if you go to my Instagram, you're gonna see that majority of the outfits I'm wearing in my photos involve some sort of hat and hair accessory, and they are way too often underutilized. Hair just as a whole entire concept, I don't think enough people are really viewing it as an accessory for your look that really can make or break the outfit. I love this too because it's easy to do, just like to experiment with hairstyles at home is free, and with hats and hair accessories, it can be a very low cost way to instantly add a little bit of extra something oomph to a look. While I have always been into doing fun hairstyles, hats and hair accessories were an area that felt a little more intimidating to me, and when I first started getting into it, I felt silly. I did. I was like, everybody here knows that I have never worn this hat before with my outfit, and they're pointing and laughing at me, which I would like to insert that meme of Jemima Kirk that is, I think you all are thinking about yourselves a bit too much. Relevant to most areas of my life, to be honest. Through a bit of trial and error, I have found that the best approach for me to incorporating more hats and hair accessories into my outfits is to select the outfit first and then the hair accessory or hat after, because sometimes the outfit is going to need like a certain hair scarf to tie together certain elements of the look through a color in the scarf or a pattern, but sometimes the outfit also needs kind of like a fun little random element, and a hat is kind of this cherry on top. It doesn't match really anything else in the outfit, but it provides that fun juxtaposition that's like cool and interesting to look at, and you just don't know what it's going to need until you have the outfit, and it's so much easier to do that than try and build an entire outfit around like a bandana in my hair. My go-tos for hair accessories is definitely some sort of bandana or scarf, and then for hats, I love a nice cap. They look good on me. What can I say? And not only fashionable, but really functional for heatless hairstyles, 3-day really greasy hair, or when my bangs just inevitably decide that they want to act up and be completely unmanageable, which is more often than not. Do not let yourself shop if you are feeling a lack with your wardrobe. And what I mean by this is that, you know, when you just suddenly wake up one day, look at your closet and realize you hate every single item, and you feel like you've actually never put together a good outfit in your life, and what even is your style, and you need to completely start over? Yeah, take a beat, pause, sit with that. We're in this time of just like a hyper-consumerist culture where things both feel so accessible to us, therefore more disposable than ever. And I think when it comes to clothing, it's this balance of not feeling too attached to them, but also understanding when you're looking at whether it's your entire closet or a few specific items, that there was something that you liked about this when you first saw it initially, that it excited you, and there were parts of it that resonated with you. And I think trying to look at an item and get back to that initial feeling is really important. Obviously, sometimes you just physically as well as emotionally outgrow items and they're no longer gonna work for you, but I think when I have that feeling that suddenly like my entire wardrobe isn't working for me, I have to step back and think, okay, well maybe I just need to approach my wardrobe differently and all of these pieces, because maybe individually the pieces can still work for me, but just the way I've been styling them is not something that works for me anymore, so let me get creative. Let me try something new, put a new spin on things. Worth noting as well, can only speak for myself as I always do, but especially on this topic, that in the past I have been known to try to fill an emotional void that I might be experiencing by shopping and deciding that suddenly none of my clothing works and I'm very unsatisfied with only that aspect of my life, no other aspect that I'm trying to distract myself from. And maybe instead of leaning into the urge to consume, I would benefit more both emotionally and my bank account from just reframing the way I've been approaching my wardrobe and letting myself get creative with it, because there's also probably more healing to be done through getting creative than just swiping my debit card. Why does like there's this saying about capitalism, of course, because it always comes back to a place of the big C word for me, but it's like capitalism kills creativity, or it doesn't breed innovation. Bringing it back to a place of crafting as well, sometimes you don't need a whole new wardrobe or even a new top, you just need to take a top that you already have that you're not wearing, because even though it's yellow, when you like yellow, you never gravitate towards it, so you dye it red and suddenly, oh my god, you love this top, you're wearing it all the time, it's your favorite top, it looks awesome on you. You love what feels like your new red top, but all it actually took was like a little bit of free time in a stainless steel pot and some red dye. And there you go. Of course, even then, you still, again, might have actually just outgrown your wardrobe, and in that case, I would say still sit with yourself for a while, never act rash, and be very strategic to your approach about what it is that is no longer working for you with your wardrobe, so you don't keep repeating that mistake, and what exactly it is that you're wanting moving forward, and then act on that, act intentionally. Can you tell that I'm a Capricorn Moon, Capricorn Venus, Capricorn Mercury, all in my 3rd house? Everything's a fucking spreadsheet. Okay, so using that previous tip is kind of jumping off point for my next piece of style advice, which is that so much about having good style is just knowing how to shop. Oh, you thought I was joking about having the spreadsheets? Oh, that's so funny. I want data. I want tracking, very detailed, intricate lists of every single outfit you're wearing, the items making up the outfit, why you are wearing them, what it is you like about them, what items are you not wearing, what don't you like about them, so moving forward when you do decide, oh, actually, maybe it's more than just needing to get creative with my closet. I do want to buy and add some pieces to my wardrobe, what it is exactly you're looking for and not looking for, so you don't keep repeating the same mistakes and ending up in this toxic cycle of just being unhappy with all of your clothes. A cute top that you find when you're out shopping is great at first, but is the cute top in a material that you like how it feels on your body when you're wearing it? And what about the color of the top? Is it something that you like how it looks on you, but it also is gonna pair well with the colors of the other items in your wardrobe? And the sleeves. Is it a quarter-length sleeve? Do you like quarter-length sleeves? Do you even know if you like quarter-length sleeves? Do you have any other tops that are quarter-length sleeves? How often do you wear them? Or do you not wear them at all? Because it turns out you like the idea of a quarter-length sleeve, but in reality, it's just not something that actually works for you. Important data to have on yourself. Women be shopping, am I right? It's like, no, actually, you're not. I'm conducting very serious research, okay? I'm collecting data. This is scientific. It's mathematics. Women in STEM. Put some respect on it, my God. Moving on to my next tip, which is by far the best thing I have ever done for my style, and that is stop centering thinness above all else with my outfits. Now, I do have a video from earlier this year called Free Yourself from Flattering. I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it, but I interrogate kind of the ideas around what makes something quote unquote flattering within fashion, and spoiler alert, it's beauty standards usually rooted in white supremacy, so womp womp. The endless pursuit that I was on to not only physically be as skinny as I could be, but then also use every single outfit to highlight how skinny I was. Huge shock, but it's really limiting for your style, as well as being really fucking boring and exhausting and damaging, both mentally and physically. Who would have thought? Unfortunately, this conversation is very topical, maybe now more than ever, because thin isn't, again, even though never really went out of style, let's be so serious. And I do always want to approach this conversation very gently and also acknowledge that regardless of my own feelings about my appearance, like, I'm a thin woman who fits into certain beauty standards, which is of course going to maybe let me feel a bit freer to experiment with fashion in ways that other people don't. That being said, I cannot believe, looking back, there were times where I was scared not to wear a belt with a garment that was cinching in the smallest part of my body. That was so frightening to me. And sometimes the outfit does need a belt and it'll make it look better, but sometimes it doesn't need to you don't need to find shape. You can actually add more free-flowing garments, additional layers, add some fun texture and some fun volume, and that's the best and coolest outfit that you're ever gonna wear. And it's just letting yourself do that. And if it looks bad, nobody has to see it outside the four walls of your bedroom. I guess this does kind of all come back around to the first point I made in this video, which is the idea of giving yourself permission to take risks with your style and have it not turn out the way that you wanted it to, and know that that's okay. And that very much applies to this idea of what is flattering and always wanting to look like conventionally pretty or hot or sexy. Like, for what? Really? Interrogate that. That's all I'm asking. It's fine to wear tight clothes, by the way. Do I look like a Puritan? I actually don't answer that, because sometimes my style just toe the line really closely of like Pentecostal woman or fashion girl in a denim maxi skirt. Be very picky with the people that you are following on social media and getting outfit inspiration from. This is going to be my final piece of style advice for at least this video, and it is one that I have absolutely no bias at all when it comes to this topic, as I am not an influencer posting about fashion and style advice and outfits online. Okay, beyond the fact that I have absolutely no skin in this game at all, I just don't think some of the advice I've heard other people give, which is is that you should never look to influencers for outfit inspiration. It's just not realistic, especially with how much time we all spend on our phones scrolling on Instagram. I feel like it's so much better to just encourage people to use it as a tool and something to be smart and intentional about, as well as not everybody has access to living in an area where there's a lot of fashion forward people that they can go out into the world and get inspiration from. Like, social media really is the main source of that. Well, I do have the privilege of living in a pretty fashionable city, LA, even though there is an ongoing narrative online that LA is not a place with very fashionable people. I mean, like, yeah, transplants who are like on Rodeo Drive and Logomania. Ew, I mean, not my taste. This is the way a lot of people assume I live in New York, maybe because of my style. We gotta represent LA, and I think there are a lot of really cool, stylish people in LA. I do also love using mainly Instagram as a source of inspiration for my outfits. Some of my guidelines, if you will, is making sure I'm following people of all different ages as well as sizes, and then a big one for me, especially if somebody is saying that they're a fashion influencer, is if I look on any of their socials and they're never, I mean, forget re-wearing an outfit, which is weird to not do that, but then to not even rewear an item, I think it really like feeds into this idea that I see influencers perpetuate, that they constantly have to be showing their followers new so they can never repeat anything. And it's just like, not only is that untrue, it's unrealistic, it's wasteful, and it's boring. And I also don't really like to follow people who are like big shills for fast fashion, and I found that often those two last things, they kind of go hand in hand. Another really big guideline for me is following people who I can tell the outfits that they're posting are what they're actually wearing in their day-to-day life. Because look, there is an aspect of social media that's, I mean, it's all performative to some extent, but it's taking photos in an outfit that you wore specifically to capture content in for Instagram and to look good posed in a photo. I'm not saying that's wrong, but it just, I don't find that very helpful when I'm trying to get outfit inspiration for my genuine day-to-day life. And so seeing people who I can tell what they're wearing is very lived in and their actual style, not just their style on Instagram, I really prefer that. All right. Well, on that note, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you so much, like always, for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have any like life-changing style advice and tips that I didn't touch on, please share them in the comments. Spread the knowledge. Shout out to Craftsy for partnering up with me on this video. I always love when I get to work with them. I will talk to you in my next video. Stay sexy. Bye.